Welcome back to Edward's Live Venture. My name is Edward, and in this video, I'm going to help you clarify the difference between the John Muir Trail, NOBO, SOBO through hike. Just a quick clarification for those who do not know the acronym of NOBO, SOBO. So NOBO means northbound. It started from Mount Whitney to Yosemite. SOBO means southbound. It started from Yosemite to Mount Whitney. So in this video, I'll break down into 4 different categories: permits, acclimations, elevation, and pros and cons of each direction. And also, I will include one bonus tip on how to get your John Muir Trail permits. You must have a permit in order to do your John Muir Trail through hike. When it comes to permits, Southbound is the hardest permit to apply for because it is one of the traditional way of doing the through hike. And I believe each day Yosemite only accepts 45 backpackers to exit the Donahue Pass. In contrast, a northbound permit is not as easy as well. It only accepts about 60 overnight permits per day from the Mount Whitney. When you do southbound, it starts from 4,000 feet at the Yosemite Valley to 6,000 or 8,000 feet depending on where you will be camping on day 1. And you will gradually ascend higher elevation as you continue later on your through hike. Southbound is the best for most people who do not have experience or live in a higher altitude elevations. For northbound, you will experience a more challenging, steep ascending from 7,800 feet, which is the Whitney Porter, to 14,000 feet on the first few days as you submit Mount Whitney and continue your journey through hike. This is one of the biggest challenges for people who do not have experience in high altitude elevations. With that said, if you decided to do a northbound, I recommend you get yourself in a higher altitude elevation a few days before you start your trip. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of each through hike routes. Let's start with southbound. The pros of the southbound is that it's easier for people who do graduate acclimation, and there is more resupply stations along the trail during your first half of the John Muir Trail. In contrast, with the cons of the southbound is that during the second half of your John Muir Trail, you'll be carrying a lot of the weight, and it might be your heaviest weight after resupplying. And on top of that, you'll be ascending peaks that are more than 10,000 feet or higher. The good thing is that the last day of your John Muir Trail pack should be a lot lighter. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of the northbound. The pros of a northbound is that the permit is slightly easier to get, and the second half of the John Muir Trail is a lot easier. In contrast, the cons of this northbound is that you will be experiencing the most challenging and the toughest during the first half of your John Muir Trail, because you will be carrying your heaviest weight to submit Mount Whitney, and you'll be continue to carry those weights until you reach the halfway point. Either it's Muir Trail Ranch or VVR for your resupply. With all those things to consider, please do keep this question in mind. How are you going to travel to the trailhead? I know some of you are international or out-of-state travelers, so you'll be flying to your closest metropolitan cities to get to the trailhead. This is something you need to figure out before you decided on which trailhead route you decided to backpack for your next John Muir Trail through hike. And also, you will also need to figure out the transportation, whether you want to rent a car or take a public or private transportation services. As I mentioned earlier, that I will give you a bonus tip. If you did not get either of the John Muir Trail permits, well, don't worry. Did you know that there are a few other trailheads options that you can apply to do the John Muir Trail? There's a lot of resources out there where you can do research, and I recommend you get a John Muir Trail or Eastern Sierra map, which can help you figure out. And please note that those alternative trailheads could be done in section or through a hike John Muir Trail. That being said, you may also do some extra miles and detours. Now my question for you is, which John Muir Trail route are you planning to start? If you already have decided on your route for your next John Muir Trail, you can also check out the John Muir Trail playlist, where you get more resources and information on the itinerary planning or a 6-month comprehensive planner, and I'll put those links in the down below. I hope you get a lot of value from this video, and please hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. And also, please comment below on which trailhead or through hike are you planning to do, and if you have already done it. I love to hear people's comments and what they think about the route they have done. With that, let me know what other John Muir Trail tutorial I should do in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I see you in the next video. Happy trails!